my soul, feeling the loss of control in a spirit so colorful. Easy feeling, then let's go home to a place where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise.
Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the Toon Review YouTube channel, where tonight it is a bit of a different show because I did say that the next live would, of course, be tomorrow night, but Alex reminded me just after the show last night that maybe we should do a sort of free transfer thing because Alex has done a lot of work towards this, to be fair. What we're going to do is basically talk about some of the free transfers that are available in the summer. Discuss the players and whether they would be interested in a move to Newcastle United in the future. Now, of course, I think this summer it's fair to say that there is a lot of free transfers, a lot of world-class talent, I think it's fair to say, on the market as a free transfer this coming summer. Now, we know that Newcastle United are up there with the big boys in the summer, certainly with regards to being in the market for bigger players than we certainly have been used to in the past. And this is an opportunity for us really to have a look at those players. So Alex has done, as I say, a lot of homework on this and showed me his notepad yesterday, and it was something like some kind of physics scientist with loads of different writing on it. It was quite remarkable, really. But we'll go through a few comments first, Alex, before we get into the players. I do want to mention, though, Martin Dubravka, of course, we mentioned him last night with the angina situation, and it's basically become a bit of a confused information what's come out of Slovakia, because it is indeed angina, which is a tonsillitis illness that Dubravka actually has, which is a kind of, it's a lingual.
Yeah, I think they mistranslated inflammation or something, didn't they? So I think he's all right, fortunately.
Yeah, he is. So that is great news. So obviously, wonderful news for Martin Dubravka, and certainly for everybody concerned that it's not as bad as what we thought it was going to be. But anyway, Tom says, Patrick Schick, do you think Newcastle should sign him in the summer? Neil Roberts says, I think the players we should be targeting should have the best years ahead of them, not at the end of their careers, like Modric, Bale, build for the future. Paul, good evening. Hope you're well. I agree. It's a long-term project. Buying older players means buying twice. We need players who will be at the club for the long-term project. However, I think if we're able to sign the likes of Suarez and Modric, we should do, because younger players will see what is happening. I mean, you know, before we go into players, Alex, that's an interesting point, isn't it? Do we actually look at the experienced players, like, you know, a Bale, a Modric, those type of players, or should we be looking younger, or should we be looking at both? Because I think sort of a balance would be quite a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with all of the comments, because you said we shouldn't sign old. Yeah, I agree. We shouldn't pay money for old, but if it's for free, why not? Especially if a lot of these older players that are available on a free transfer have Champions League experience, titles, international honours. And it depends on the objectives of the board and and Eddie Howe and the team next year, that do they want to try and be cheeky and push for Europa? Do they want to push higher, or do they just want top 10? It depends on what standards they're going to set for themselves, and that is dependent on the summer window. And as Paul said at the beginning, this is one of the strangest summers we've ever had. There's a lot of free talent out there. So all of this,
I can't
it's going
remember.
to take, all of this, it's going to take 3 to 5 years. Well, if we get the summer right, you never know, because it's a very unique summer. It could surprise a few people because there's a lot out there for free. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, I've never known a summer with so many players on free transfers. Now I know, they could sign new deals with the clubs they're with at the minute between now and the end of the season. However, the good thing for me is it's the vast amount that aren't signing yet and haven't signed for anybody. It's like you're going to walk in. Newcastle United could be walking into a certain situation where it's like like a pick and mix in the summer. It's incredible. Louis says, good evening. Did you guys know that Adam got kicked out of St. James's Park for recording parts of the game? What an absolute piss take. It's his job, says Louis. Listen, I did know. I've seen Adam's video. I don't know if you're aware, Alex. Adam Pearson was recording the under-23s game inside St. James's Park tonight, and the stewards threw him out for recording the game.
I didn't know that, no.
Which I find absolutely astonishing.
Considering the club have supported him directly before,
well,
maybe they just didn't know who he was.
But to be fair to Adam as well, I mean, the work he does as well, he puts Newcastle on the map with his videos, and like we said yesterday, he's got a certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Dynamic on his channel where people will watch for whatever reason, and it does.
He'll be bringing fresh fans.
Exactly
to the club, so it's important to keep
it appeals to a younger base. Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm very, very, very surprised at what happened tonight. I don't think we've heard the end of it, to be honest, but it'll be interesting. They were 2-0 down when he got kicked out, and they were 3-2 up last I heard, so they'd come back really well. Lewis says the stewards were probably Mackems. Well, yeah, indeed. Whatever. Football Style says, hello, good evening, Paul. I want to tell you I would buy Paulo Dybala, Paul Pogba, and lastly, Gareth Bale, for sure, in my opinion. But I want to buy in money. Nunes as a striker, Sven Botman, Marcao, and obviously Dean Henderson. Paul Pogba is not one that sort of stands out for me, Alex. I don't know about you, but he's not my type of player.
Yeah, I mean, that leads me nicely onto the parameters of how we're going to do the free transfers. Like what is going to allow players to come? Are they going to want to come? So I've got questions I've asked for each of these free transfers. Do they have European football right now? Are they going to want it next year? Are they going to want a trophy push next year? Can we afford their wages? And do we have competition in getting their signature?
Yeah, indeed.
And we've got to meet that criteria before we can realistically say we could get them as a free transfer. And if they don't meet those, then possibly not, probably not. We'll see.
Yeah. It's interesting. Ryan says Ginter seems to be the most realistic and won't demand European football. He has a shot on goal every game, according to Facebook reference or whatever that is. Ryan, just a quick congratulations to the Canadian national team, of course, qualifying for the World Cup in Qatar at the back end of this year. Absolutely fantastic achievement for the Canadian national side, and it starts to put Canadian football on the map again, which is fantastic. And we know, obviously, they've got a couple of players who are world class. I'm not frightened to say that. Jonathan Davies, it's
Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David.
That's David, yeah. Those two players, can really put Canada on the map in the World Cup. So well done to them. Gary's in the house. I think we'll be pleasantly surprised by who they get to join us in the summer. Geordie says, no doubt it was a job worth who kicked him out, as ground regulations state that images and recording of matches can't be used for personal gain. It's under 23s, for God's sake. You know what I mean? It's not exactly Premier League football, is it? I think we should go for the up-and-coming young talent like Victor Osimhen, Nigerian striker from Napoli. He's been mentioned a few times. Gary says, as has already been mentioned, I like young, talented players who want to be involved in the project. The likes of Pogba can go elsewhere, as I don't think he's a team player. Who is it you look at first name on your sheet there, Alex? We may as well crack on with them.
Well, I've got a few of the unrealistic ones. People like Paulo Dybala and Pogba. their wages. So Dybala, for example, is on 225,000 currently a week. So this is an important part of this conversation is wages. So we are looking at not destroying our wage structure. They are keen to try and do this steadily. And if we believe that Trippier is on around 120,000 a year, then even superstars are not going to be on much past that. I can't see anybody breaking 200,000 in the summer if Trippier is on 120, because they're going to want to try and keep some dressing room harmony and do this over a period of time. So anybody on sort of asking for more than 200 is just going to be an absolute no, unless the board have a bit of a U-turn on what they want to do. It seems realistic. So Dybala and people like Pogba are just out by default. Rudiger is close to that because he's demanded 200k from Chelsea for a new contract and they said no. So again, that's teetering on the edge of, would we offer 200? It's a bit much, maybe. And to answer another question as well, for people saying that these big stars might not want to come to Newcastle, well, Trippier and Bruno are two opposite ends of the spectrum. One has won titles, one is up and coming, and they both decided to join. And secondly, there is another criteria that people keep missing. Rudiger's won everything. There are a lot of players out there who have won the lot, so they might not care anymore. They might want a change or a project or to try a new league or try a new club. Because if they've won Champions League, Premier Leagues, La Ligas, international honours, they might just want to try something else. It's happened before. It's very normal for that to happen. So just because they're world class doesn't mean they will not choose us necessarily. They might be interested in the project as a whole. So, it does hold bearing. And I would like to say, for people that say maybe we're talking about this prematurely as well, it's not at all. Because we could secure our safety in the next several weeks. And there'll be a lot of people looking at doing pre-contract agreements now, or at least putting the feelers out there. It is about that sort of time where people start looking at free transfers and pre-contracts. So it is a little early, but I can definitely see clubs making. We've already seen people like Barcelona making moves already in the free transfer market. Exactly. So if we're looking to be a top club, we need to start getting involved in that sort of business.
Shane over in Australia says, Wales, Newcastle United, golf in that order. Lewis says, I prefer this backdrop to the green screen. Well, it'll be used sometimes, and sometimes it'll be the green screen. Certainly for watch-alongs and things like that, I need my green screen because I want to put graphics on there. Tom says, I'll watch later on my way back from the under-23s 4-3 win against West Brom. Sounds like a really good game, actually. Evening, Paul Nallis, looking forward to this one. Cheers, mate. Chris Rock got something. Yeah, we know Chris Rock. Isco, yes, Isco, I have no doubt, is on the list. He wasn't mentioned in your unrealistic targets, Alex. So is Isco somebody that you could see maybe signing for Newcastle?
It has legs. Unfortunately, there are no concrete rumours out there. We've not been linked with him, so this is purely my fantasy world. But in terms of realism, he's on 210,000 at the moment. So it isn't unrealistic that he would take a pay cut to 150, 160. It's possible. Again, he's one of those players which has won everything. He's been with the Spanish national team for a very long time. He's got 3 Champions Leagues, or 4, maybe 4. He's got everything. He's won the lot. He's 29. He's not getting that many minutes. He's been averaging 10 to 15 starts a season. His stats are ridiculous. Especially as we're trying to progress into a team who wants to dominate the ball, be good at passing, be creative. He's absolutely world class in midfield, and he might want a new challenge. And with people like Man City and Liverpool having stacked midfields, if he wants a pop at the Premier League, it's a good fit. I can't see it necessarily happening. It is a bit fantasy, but it does line up. It depends on what his goals are as a person. If he's happy to settle for no European football and trophies, it depends what he wants. But it's possible.
For me, why couldn't we sign somebody like him? If we're trying to be this up and coming Premier League side, rising up and start challenging for things. It's like you said before, these players maybe want a different challenge. Some of these players we're talking about are used to winning week in, week out. Maybe they want a different challenge, if that makes sense, to actually, being a team that's not guaranteed to be anywhere near the top end of the table, but it's a challenge. It's the build. It's what we sell them to as Newcastle United. Lee, I just need to mention your comments here because you're mentioning a few things about angina is in the heart and not the back of your throat. There is a lingual angina. That is what it's called. That is the medical term for it in certain countries, which is tonsillitis. And I think that's where the confusion has come about, because in Slovakia, they call it a lingual angina. So that's why everybody was panicking when they heard the word angina. But apparently it is a Slovakian medical term for tonsillitis. So, you know, you don't have to put silly comments like lolling and things like that. It doesn't, you know, it's not the fact that, you know, anybody's wrong here. It's just it came out in a different way over there. Keith, thank you very much for your $10 super chat. He says Diaby, Botman, Jonathan David, Sandro Tonali. Now that would be a transfer window right there. Would it not? And I think Ryan in Canada would be pleased because Jonathan David's on that list. And also Gary Hannon, thank you very much for your £10 super chat, mate. Paul and Alex, how many players would you sign in the summer? When I think 3 players like a goalkeeper, centre back, and striker. Well, we're going to save that for a different show, Gary, because we're talking obviously about, you know, the free transfers that are available in the summer, and then what we'll do is later down the line we'll talk about where, you know, real positions need improving within the Newcastle United side. So there's plenty to do with regards to
the
shows
free
like
transfers massively dictate our real transfers as well.
Mm-hmm.
If we get 3 free transfers sort of readied up before the season ends, then the club can go into the summer knowing they don't need those 3 positions. So it completely changes our transfer window, like in terms of who we buy.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's very interesting. Matthew says, Josh Scott, who scored for the under-23s. I went to school with his older brother. They're the spitting image of each other. Nice one. Very good win for the under-23s. Ronald says, tonsillitis is big mistake, angina. Yeah, but it's how it's their medical term in that country. So we can't tell them what medical terms to have, unfortunately. Good evening, Keith. Hope you're well. You need a mix of experience and talent, in my opinion, says Truls. We need a mix of young and older. I agree. Good evening, Norvik. I can't see us getting players like Bale in the summer, to be honest. Listen, I think we have to stop this thing of saying, well, they'll not come to Newcastle United, because you just never know. Many people said Trippier wouldn't come to Newcastle United because it was too much of an ask. England international, playing for Atletico Madrid. Why was he going to come to a Newcastle United side who were bottom of the league? But he did, right? He did, and he is here, and he wants to be part of it. So why can't other players be part of it? That's the thing. We need to get out of our heads now and start looking positively, because it's not the Mike Ashley reign anymore. We are a different club now. We have different owners who actually have ambition and want to win things, Alex. So it's mainly important now that we stop saying that and say, right, you know, we can get these players, because we can, obviously, whoever's behind this selling of the club to the likes of Trippier and Bruno, they can do it.
Yeah, well, it's different as well. The fact that Trippier and Bruno said yes when we were nearly rock bottom of the table.
Yeah.
The summer is a clean slate for the start of a fresh season. So if we can get Bruno and Trippier in that situation, then surely in theory we could get slightly better than that, offering a fresh slate of a season. Like, it logically makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm not saying that means we'll get Bale. I'm not on about Bale specifically, but just players in general. There's no reason why we can't get upgrades.
Yeah.
None at all.
Michael says, let's just hope the Telegraph is wrong about the £50 million transfer funds. Right, Luke Edwards. Okay, we all have an opinion on Luke Edwards, okay? Mine is not a positive one on Luke Edwards, because this is a man who said we were getting around I think he said about a £90 million budget in January. Now, he was completely wrong about that. Listen, the man is just putting it out there, right? Don't listen to him. If we've got a 50 million transfer fund for transfers, then we could go and get 4 or 5 of these free transfers and spend £50 million on a couple of other players. That'll do me nicely.
Yeah. It could be correct,
you know?
and we could still end up with 8 or 9 players.
Exactly.
Like, it's more about who they are and less about the money necessarily.
It's best to have a good blend of young and experienced players. Adam says, as long as they put the work in and don't just sit around collecting the wages, I'd be happy signing older players for free. I mean, there's one player that I think everybody's talking about in the Premier League at the minute that hasn't signed a new contract, and he plays for Liverpool at the minute, Alex, which, of course, is Mo Salah.
Well, that's another video. That's people who are going to have 1 year remaining on their contracts, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Is he somebody that, I'm not saying for Newcastle, but is he somebody that Liverpool, would they cash in on him if they thought that he was going to walk?
Potentially. It depends. It depends on the offers they would get in COVID times and where he would go. I mean, it's got PSG written all over it, in my opinion, with Messi and some of their aging front line.
Yeah.
Di Maria's going on a his end of contract as well. It's just got PSG written all over it. But he has publicly come out and said he would be happy to stay in the Premier League. But I think that was more of a strategy to say, look, Liverpool, if you don't help me, I'm going to stay in the league and score goals against you, which is a funny one, considering how loved he is at the club. It was a bit of an aggressive thing to come out and say.
That's the thing with all these players, though, Alex. I mean, Mo Salah, I think, will stay at Liverpool, if I'm openly honest.
Yeah, he's built such a legacy. Even though I'm a Newcastle fan, I wouldn't like to see him tarnish his legacy. We want the Premier League as a whole to be an attractive, great league. So we don't want people doing, there's a lot of snakes in a lot of other leagues. We don't want that. We want, passion.
Well,
good
you
players.
could say there's a lot of snakes in the Premier League. Listen, it's a whole different topic, but Mark Goldbridge did a brilliant video on it this morning, on this the new Champions League format and things like that. The 15, I think the 15 elite teams, or however it works out in Europe, still get into the Champions League. So Man United could finish something like 7th and still get into the Champions League.
Yeah, if we end up finishing 5th and Man U still get Champions League ahead of us, I'd be fuming.
They're trying to slide in the Super League little bits and bobs at a time. And to be fair to Mark Goldbridge, he actually turned around and said, even though I'm a Man United fan, I find this whole thing disgusting, which I was really pleased with him for saying that, because he doesn't want it, and not many people will.
They're scared. Leicester's infrastructure and growth has been very impressive. Aston Villa are on the up. We're on the up. They're getting scared. It's not just us. They're getting rattled.
There was a lot of comments on the video saying, it's because the Premier League is scared of the likes of Newcastle, Villa, Leicester, etc., who are threatening the Magnificent Six, as they like to be called.
Everton will be back at some point, even if they're terrible at the moment. They'll come back eventually,
Yeah, indeed. Graham says players aren't signing new contracts as the players themselves make mega washes with no signing on fee. They kicked Adam out where there was loads of other fans recording them kicking him out. I know, I didn't understand that. As they were escorting Adam away out the ground, everybody was filming it, which I found highly incredible, really. Anyway, next name on your list there, Alex.
So I'll go for somebody we've been linked with before, under Bruce, actually, Florian Grillitsch. So he's a defensive midfielder. We were linked with him in the summer, and we didn't get him, unfortunately. He stayed at Hoffenheim. He's 26 years old, defensive midfielder. They don't have European football. They're in 6th position at the moment. So he's a very reasonable signing, peak age. Not great at pressures, but his team, Hoffenheim, tend to dominate the ball. So Hoffenheim have had about 54% possession per game on average, 390 accurate passes per game, and he sits in that DM role and pings it about. And he's only on 35k a week. We could triple that and not even touch Trippier's wages. So very, very gettable at 26 years old. Somebody that could sit next to Bruno as a shield, I think, is a very, very good option. So he plays for Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga, is a very, very good shout. And somebody who we've been linked with, and I think we've probably had contact with him at some point, or his agents anyway. So he gets a massive tick from me, as in terms of he would fit the squad, the system, and we could afford him. So unless anybody knows of any competition for his signature or anything I'm missing, I think he's a shoo-in. I think we need to try and go for him.
Cool. Julie says, what's that in the shot? It's my light, Julie, so I do apologise, but it is the light on the left-hand side. It's not a sombrero, though. It's definitely not a sombrero. We see in the background. It really does look like a sombrero tonight, Alex, I have to say. Will says, you think Burn and Botman would be good centre-back partnership, Alex? Loads of height, not as much pace there.
I have an alternative plan specifically for this conversation to give you guys some alternatives, which I'm pretty sure Paul knows him because Paul likes Dortmund. Dan-Axel Zagadou is my alternative centre back, left-footed, 22 years old. He is also on 35k a week and hasn't signed an extension with Dortmund. He fits that role perfectly.
Yep.
He's had a lot of injury troubles this year, but is a top player. He's an Eddie Howe player. His pressures, his stats, his ball carries, his passing. He's incredible. Another level. Definitely a European standard. And he's free. We could triple his wages again, and it wouldn't exceed what Trippier's on. It's again somebody that we need to go in for, because we're looking at 40, 45, 50 million for Botman, whereas I think this guy is on a similar level, and is free. So it would be mad to not at least try.
Eden's saying Conor Gallagher, is he at the end of his... He's not on a free yet, is he?
It would be a bit weird to send someone out on loan whose contract was ending. I don't think... Because I've not seen him on any lists.
No, but I have seen Thomas Tuchel talk about him numerous times, and he thinks very, very highly of him. So I'd be amazed, absolutely amazed, if Chelsea were to let him go.
I mean, they'll have a clear out anyway. They've got Loftus-Cheek, Barkley, Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic, Gallagher, Mount. They've got like 10 midfielders. They need a clear out. There's going to be a massive clear out at Chelsea, that's for sure.
Yep. Spencer says Amin Guriri from Nice is a fantastic option. Link-up play and finishing is next level. I'm not sure he's on a free, though.
Not sure he's on a free, unless I've missed him.
I don't think he is. Good Deal says free agents in hand: Tarkowski, Ginter, Boubacar, Kamara, Brozovic, and Luis Felipe.
I think Brozovic is signing a new contract or has done that. I think he's one of those players that is expecting. I don't think he's going to want to come to us. I think he's a Barcelona player or a Serie A player. I don't think he's going to be one of those that wants trophy pushes, European football. So we're not going to be able to offer him what he wants right now, unfortunately. But yeah.
With regards to Tarkowski, I don't think he's as good as what we've got now, to be honest. I'm not that impressed with James Tarkowski. I think Dan Burn is a far better player, and I think we'll get a couple more in during the summer. I don't think Tarkowski is going to be on our list at all. But you never know. DJL Float says, pleased for Canada, but did anyone see the USA celebrating qualified for the World Cup when they haven't qualified yet? Indeed. I know, I thought that was a bit bizarre. Leicester City went from third-tier football to Premier League champions in 7 years, so we should have it done in less than 5. That's confidence. Keith says Pogba would be great for hype and name recognition, but the return on investment most likely won't be there on the field.
Indeed.
I don't see the fascination with Paul Pogba, Alex. I really don't. I don't see what he offers. I think when I saw him for Juventus, I thought, yeah, there's definitely a player there. But for United, he's looked very, very, a couple of times, I remember in the Manchester derby a couple of years ago, when Man United were down and out going into the second half, and he turned the game round on its head by himself. That's what he can do. But he just seems incredibly lazy to me, that he's got the money in the bank now and he's not interested.
I don't think he fits into an Eddie Howe team.
No,
incredible player, world-class player on his day. Well, world-class player most of the time. He just has a few issues in his game that pop up sometimes. He just doesn't fit what we want in terms of pressures and intensity and system and shape. These are the things he's being criticised for at Man United at the moment, is pressures, inconsistency in shape and formation and defensive duties. And this is exactly what we don't want to inherit that kind of problem. And especially when you attach the wages onto it as well. I mean, it would be purely for a commercial view if we were going to sign him, and I don't want to go down that road. It doesn't look like we're going to go down that road based on Stavley visiting Man City training facilities. It looks like she wants to go that way, not Man United way, which is great.
Yeah. Chris Murray says, hi, everyone from Virginia, where it is sunny, but colder than my ex's heart. Wow. I think the temperature's about to drop in Britain too and all over the next couple of days, matey. Would love to see us go for Raphinha from Leeds, but looks like Barca have got him.
Yeah, that's a shame, that one. But it's exactly why we're doing the show, because people are snapping up transfers already. So it's worth talking about. Big shame, because I'd love to see him on the right and Maxi on the left. I think that would be lethal. They wouldn't know which side to mark. It would be incredible. But I think he'll do very well at Barca. But I don't know what happens to Leeds when he goes. That'll be interesting.
Is Raphinha a Barca kind of player?
Yeah, I could see that. They've had those wingers over the years, haven't they, with their Pedros and things like that. It's
Very
and
true.
how they play at the moment with Traore, and they've got a lot of floaty eights with De Jong and Pedri. Yeah, Xavi's very intelligent. They've got him playing some really interesting football. I think he could fit him in anywhere, to be fair.
Yeah. Wouldn't go for Ekateke anymore. Apparently his form has been shocking. Stato will know more.
Not at all, actually. I haven't been tracking him. Naughty me.
Well, there's some homework for you, Alex. I don't think he has been putting the ball in the net very regularly at all since January, which is
I'll
which
research
is
it for tomorrow, and then they can.
Matthew says, imagine a midfield of Bruno, Isco, and Joe Linton.
Don't.
Wow. I mean, wow. It does. But this is the type of thing that we can kind of dream of now, Alex. A midfield like that. I mean, that's incredible when you think about it. If Eddie Howe goes with a 4-3-3 and we've got Bruno, Isco, and Joe Linton.
I mean, if I screen share his FB ref for 1 second just to show you his quality. So that is Isco's FB ref right here in terms of passes attempted, completion, progressive passes, and carries, and dribbles completed. So he's not. I mean, Real Madrid have all of the ball, so this is going to be lower by nature anyway, and he doesn't play as a DM.
Yeah.
But that is ridiculous. That is wow. Like, to have that in our team would be, next level.
Simply incredible. What about Lingard?
So Lingard's on the list. That's an interesting one. Probably going to be heavily linked in the media and the papers.
Yeah, without a doubt.
It depends on what he wants. And it depends on if he gets a good West Ham offer and West Ham gets some kind of European football, he might go to West Ham. And I wouldn't blame him. It's a fair shout. But we could do with him as well. He could play anywhere across sort of that left, right, and number 10, depending on what formation we play. We can do his wages. What's he on at the moment? He's on 75k a week at Man United right now. So we could increase that by a reasonable amount and give him a decent contract, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
It's just a question of competition from other teams, and what does Jesse want at this time? Does he want to push for trophies? Does he want to play some kind of European football? It's more about the player. I think it's possible, though. It's very, very possible.
Yeah, be interesting. Ginger says Rudiger we can't afford. Belotti too old and shit. Botman okay, but with the new rules for finances, 125k to 170 most, and Isco is a glass bottle and past it. He's had 2 good seasons in 10 years.
I mean, Rudiger's the same age as Belotti, so you shot yourself in the foot with that one. So
yeah,
they're both 28. And Belotti has had last year 19 goal contributions, the previous year 19 goal contributions. Who do we have in our team at the moment that can do that? 20 goals a year or 20 goal contributions a year. We don't have that. I mean, Wilson technically is that if he's not injured. And Belotti is on. So for people who don't know, Andrea Belotti in Serie A plays for Torino, which is the fancy team that Joe Hart went and had a little stint at in Italy. He's been there for his long 5-year contract. He was one of the best strikers in Italy. He's great. He's a cracking player. He is their penalty taker, which does inflate his stats.
He had a blind in Euros last year and all. Yeah. To be fair, he was outstanding.
And he's on. So he's not got Europe now either. So he might not necessarily be demanding Europe or trophy pushes, which fits us. Indeed. And he's only on 64k a week right now. So again, we could double it. Not a problem. We wouldn't be breaking Trippier's wages. It would be about the same as Trippier. He's very reasonable. And at 28, is that too old? Give him a 3-year deal. He's only
28.
31 now.
They're in the prime as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't think it's too risky.
Nah. Gary, thank you for another £5 super chat, mate. And he says there's so many different players can play different in different clubs. Like if a player plays poor, to be a great player in a different team. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the setup. Over 500 watching tonight, guys. Thank you so much. So if you are enjoying the show, please do stick a thumbs up on the video for us. It does help us grow the channel. And also, if you're new to the channel, you like what you see, please do consider subscribing. We are so close to the 10K now. 70 away or something like that, which is fantastic. So we are going to get there soon, but hopefully sooner rather than later. So do share it with your family, friends, and anybody who is loves Newcastle United. This is the channel to be. Thank you to everybody for the super chat so far. If you do want to donate to the channel, you can do by hitting the $ at the bottom of the live comments. And that'll take you through to a payment method that way. And of course, must give a shout out to our channel sponsors, Geordie Riffs, premium guitar lessons for beginners and children, based here in the good old northeast of England. Guitar repairs and servicing, which they're offering 10% off each one for your first ones. They do have a recording studio available for you as well. And they are offering a free first guitar lesson if you mention the Toon Review. You can find them at geordieriffs.co.uk, on Instagram at Geordie Riffs, and on Facebook at Geordie Riffs Official. So thank you to Graham and Natalie for their continued support of the channel. Terry says, glad Dubravka is not to do with the heart, mate, and hopefully recovers soon. Indeed, if it's tonsillitis, 5-day course of antibiotics, bosh, you're away. So it's... Scott says, no disrespect, Paul. It's Ludwig angina, sir. Well, there you go. That's the word I was looking for. I wouldn't class myself as a doctor, so I do apologize. But thank you for putting us right on that. Dubravka's probably only out for the Spurs game and maybe the Wolves game. I think the Spurs game, to be honest. Wacky says, love the fish tank, Paul. Glows. Is there a glow-in-the-dark jellyfish in there you can slap people in the face with? No. Unfortunately not. There's not any jellyfish in there. League lock Burnley's attempt to sign Moses as he's out of contract. Is that the league trying to protect Everton? I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, they wanted to try and give Moses an out, and the Premier League said no.
Right.
Because he's at a Russian club. He's at is he at Spartak Moscow? CSK
right,
Moscow. Yeah. He's at one of the Moscow clubs. And he wanted out. Yeah.
Okay. Elite Salesman says, if Ruben Neves is available for £40 million, we have to get him. Quality player, but it's free transfers on the show tonight. There are several types of angina, not all relate to the heart. I think Bale needs some love, to be honest. On his day, he's an incredible player. I mean, that free kick he scored was just simply sensational last week for Wales. It was just, it was, I mean, if Ronaldo had scored that, I mean, or Messi, it would have been played on Sky Sports News for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Now, it just depends. Still do a job, surely, Alex.
I wouldn't have him in our initial plans. I mean, this is just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If we get further into the window and a couple of wingers of the deals have fallen through, but we've done most of the business and he's still floating around, then yeah, why not? Take him. He's world class on his day.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be my first choice, especially because we've got Maxi and the system we want to play with pressing. It's a tough one because there's the potential. We don't want to sign too many players that aren't going to fit the system because it's a very system-related team. There's a reason why some of our lesser players are doing so well because of the training in the system.
Yeah.
So if we bring in Man United is a prime example of this. The systems they've been trying to play are good, effective systems, and they're not working because of the personnel.
Yeah.
We've got to be careful on who we can't just sign people commercially or because they're quality on their day. We could sign the odd one. Yeah, we could have somebody, but how many players not pulling their weight does it take for the team for the system to fall apart? Not many. If a couple of players are off and not doing their jobs. So we could probably get away with a striker or a winger being a bit like that, yeah. But we're not an old people's home. We've got to be careful who we bring.
Not again. We don't want to go. We certainly don't want to go down the lines of that again. Definitely not. It was bad enough when Stuart Pearson, all them, and John Barnes and all the old guys came in. You know, it was it wasn't something I enjoyed, to be honest, for Newcastle at the time.
Centre back, sure, but as a winger, maybe not.
Yeah. We've got John Sinclair. Thank you for your £4.49, my man. I have just got your text, by the way. I will reply after the show, buddy. Evening, guys. Great show. Lafont from Nantes. That's quite an interesting one. It actually rhymes. Lafont from Nantes. Would be a great signing. Brilliant keeper this season. And Romagnoli from Milan, I'd get on a free too. He's obviously got a...
so Romagnoli's on my sheet as well.
Yeah.
He's possibly going to be expecting European football and trophy pushes. So it depends if he's interested in dropping that for us as a project. Maybe not. He's on 106k a week right now in pounds. So he's on a bit of a whack. If he comes, he's probably going to want a pay rise to 150, maybe more than that. That's a tricky one. That's a tricky one.
But the thing is with these wages, you know, Alex, I'm just thinking, if we want to be up there challenging for these European honours and Premier League honours, we are going to have to pay the big bucks eventually. We're going to have to.
Eventually. We don't need to do it this summer.
You know what I mean? It's just a case of building it like Man City did.
I don't mind us breaking Trippier's wages, but if we do, it needs to be for somebody considerably better than Trippier. And I don't think
Trippier may well have something in his contract like Shearer did, remember, Alex, that if somebody comes in on more wages, they match the wages like Shearer did.
I never thought of that. That's a very interesting point.
Yeah.
That changes my whole strategy. Well done, Paul.
Keith, thank you for your $17.99 super sticker, matey. There's no comment there, but thank you for your generosity as usual, mate. Very kind. Another one, Dembele is on a free this summer from obviously Barcelona, although his wages are astronomical. Now, they are astronomical wages, but I have to say, last week, before the international break, in the Clasico, he destroyed Real Madrid. He was absolutely outstanding. And really, I don't think the forwards for... Who's the striker for Barcelona who played for Arsenal? His name's gone.
Aubameyang,
that's him. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. You know, he just every goal just on a plate for him. It's just incredible. But wages, I mean, if you want to talk about astronomical wages, Alex, then Dembele is really the prize one, isn't he?
I mean, I agree with what you said. He was over 100 million transfer at the start of his contract. There's a reason for that, because he was incredible when he was at Dortmund. He was insane, and he is still a crazy talented player. But wages, he's on £208,000 a week at the moment, and apparently his rumoured wage demands were around 300k. So, but this was at a time when Barcelona were asking people to take wage cuts to support the club. Yeah. He's asking for a 90k pay rise, which is why they've had so many problems. We can't afford his current wages or his demanded wages, and that is going to blow Trippier's wages out by 88k if we want to match his current wages. It's not happening. It's unless he has a good talking to from somebody, it is not happening. Absolutely not. Unless the board change their minds. I'm basing this on what they've said they're going to do wage-wise. So this could all change, but this is what we know today as of when this comes out, you know.
Caitlin and Nick say, I said last week we will sign Salah in the summer. I was very high at the time. Apparently wants 400 grand a week, which do you know what though, Alex? He can command that, can't he? I mean, he can ask for that anywhere.
Maybe the following summer we might be able to do that without destroying our wage structure.
Indeed,
it's just this summer's a bit soon for that kind of wage.
Yeah. Carl says keeping targets should be a priority as well. I think they've already sorted that as far as I'm concerned. I think that's already a done deal. Leroy Sané would be amazing. I don't think Sané would come back to the Premier League, to be honest. I think he's doing...
got a long contract now.
He's doing really well now, though, isn't he? He started off slowly, but he's really improved through the course of this season. Ross says VAR, snake emoji. Greetings from America, gentlemen. Barring a 6-goal loss, DeAndre Yedlin and US Soccer will be in the World Cup Wednesday night.
I mean, don't
Indeed.
jinx that. People
I
could
don't
lose
think
by
they'll.
6 goals.
No, they'll not lose 6 goals. Not with DeAndre Yedlin.
Who are they playing?
They're probably playing somebody like the
I have to check.
the Virgin Islands or someone like that. I mean, it's
Panama. Oh no, is this from tonight's game? They just beat Panama 5-1.
I think that was last night, wasn't it, or the night before? I can't remember. Don't forget a little thing called chemistry, fellas. Very informative show tonight, guys. Good stuff. Thank you very much. Norvik says, as fans, we have been living in a box which year in, year out was getting smaller every year. Our new owners and Eddie, there is no box. Come the summer, we will go out and get Salah. Will not be out of the question. I like your confidence, man.
Yeah, maybe.
The time of the top 6 has passed and will be replaced, says Ryan. Ginger, I don't understand why you want to just chill. We've got a very, very good summer ahead of us, whatever happens, my man. Spider says, I agree to keep target ASAP, get it done. Suave says, oh, status. Look at that. He's got a song. He could have been ugly, but he said no for that. He wants to play the guitar wearing the sombrero hat. And when he shaves his beard, he'll look
like an egg. You are correct indeed, which is why I don't want to shave it.
Brilliant. Absolutely superb. Mark, good evening. He says, we could get in anyone in the summer if they buy into the project. Some players will understand the long-term plans for the club. Now, I mean, we've discussed this many times, Alex, about who we think could be involved in sort of, pushing the Newcastle United plan to all these players, the likes of Keegan, Shearer, all these kind of ex-legends behind the scenes. So, if that's the case, then I'm very, very confident we can attract the big players, because if we've got people like that behind the scenes, which I actually do believe we have, I think we can get some big names in. And they could be talking to some of these free transfers already.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a hot take on that. I don't think we need it. I think we needed that for January. I'm not sure we need that anymore. We had 5 new players in, and like I said, we've got a blank slate next season. And these players aren't daft. They're aware that Newcastle's going to transform its youth academy, its training facilities. They'll be aware that this is all going to happen.
Yeah,
they're not daft. I'm not sure we're going to need people to sell the dream. I think the owners and I think they'll do it for us. I mean, it'll help. It's great to have club ambassadors for sure, but I don't think they'll need that push unless they're quite naive young players who have never really heard much of the English teams. But that in this day and age, unless it's like somebody like an Andy Carroll who doesn't like football outside of the job, because those people do exist. But of course, people are going to know who we are in the Premier League, especially with
that's
some
an
of the
interesting take.
legends.
I do think. I mean, personally speaking, I do think we still need like an ambassador, that kind of role, who if we're struggling to maybe get a player,
could be needed necessarily. It depends on who.
Yeah, certainly when we start sort of winning things and being up there, we won't need anybody like that.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think an ambassador could have helped somebody like Ekiteke get over the line in January. I think having that in place. I mean, it's not the owner's fault. They were trying to get a lot done very quickly, but it could. And
I actually genuinely believe that somebody did go out and speak to Kieran Trippier.
Oh, really?
I have no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt. Charlie, the Leicester fan, good evening to you. Yuri Tielemans is on 35k a week, apparently. Give us some money, we need it. I would take Tielemans in a heartbeat, and I'm very surprised if he's on 35 grand a week. And I think if Leicester got him for 35 grand a week, that is some talented signing, that.
Because he came from Belgium.
Yeah, but was it not? Was he not playing in France? Was it France?
I think he is from Belgium, but I don't know if
he's a Belgian
Belgian
international, but I think
French
he was playing
league.
in France.
Yeah, but he was probably on very low wages there, because he'd have been on a youth contract, so he'd have probably gone from 5k to 35k, which at the time, because they weren't sure if he was going to be incredible. It makes sense.
It does. Will says the most underrated Newcastle analyst you are, Alex. Paul needs to pay you more. Another compliment flying your way, my bearded friend. Ryan says, Canada are taking over CONCACAF now. We aren't a hockey country anymore. Ryan, you'll always be a hockey country, mate. Always on the ice. Ross says, Kennedy, surprised he's still at Chelsea. I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole as long as the ocean, mate. Not anymore. Definitely not anymore. What about Luis Felipe? He's at Atletico, isn't he?
He is on my list. I thought he was the Lazio guys. Am I getting my people mixed up?
I don't know. Is he not the guy that played for the Chelsea signed and then sent them back? I don't. I may be wrong on that one.
He is the Lazio centre back. Yeah.
Right.
So he's a cracking player. He's 25 from Lazio. He's only on 24k a week at the moment as well. So he is somebody that is of good quality. But the Zagadou injury record. Yeah, you're right about that. That's fair. It's a fair point.
Why, when I see that name, do I want to sing the song Xanadu? I mean, it's terrible.
If he come, I want him to come purely because of the songs. That'd be great.
you know that would be his song, wouldn't you? It just Xanadu would be.
So if we've got Zagadou and Botman and stuff, the songs in the crowd are going to be so almighty.
Good. Rocco says, to be fair, wouldn't mind Jesse Lingard. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, we spoke about Jesse. Yeah. I think we're both the agreement that we'd like to have him. Matthew says the new FFP rules are set to be in place from 2025, so we'll be fine. Callum says Denier from maybe from Lyon.
Yeah, I mean, I know of him and I know the situation. I haven't put him down in my notes because he's an ex-Sunderland player and I refuse to write an ex-Sunderland player on my paper. So Manquillo is the only person that gets a pass from me because he's been a good servant.
Yep.
No, quite frankly, there are better options. And for free, well, no, because he's had red and white on. So he's a good player, yeah, but I personally no. So for people who don't know, he's 26 now, plays for Lyon, integral part of their squad, good player, played European football. He was partnering Bruno not long ago. But again, he was a Macam at some point, so it's a tough one.
Joe Linton, thank you very much for your £5 super chat. He says Paul Celiba has made comments suggesting he doesn't know if he wants to return to Arsenal, but Marseille have a transfer ban, so we should go and get him. Is Celiba somebody that
contract?
I'm not sure, but I know about Marseille's transfer ban and everything. But that will be an interesting one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely.
Paulo Dybala could be a shout for me. Not sure about your opinion on him. I think if somebody offered Paulo Dybala to Newcastle United and he wanted to come, just get him. I mean, I think he's absolute class. Lingard is a class player. He is England worthy. If he didn't stay at Man United, he'd play for England. Well, if he come to Newcastle United, he wouldn't, because we know, the thing. I don't know what that is about Newcastle United.
He'd play every game. That's the thing.
Well, he would. That's why I think he was so angry that what happened in January, because he would play every game and deservedly so, because he's better than a lot of what we've got, or he was. Suddenly these players have turned around now, so who knows? If it's the France version of Pogba, then yeah, I'd have him. Jules, I agree about Tarkowski. It's a no from me. What about Boubacar Kamara from Marseille?
Yeah, so crazy good talent, but again, that might be a tough one because of the quality of him and the people that the vultures are swarming around that one. That just might not be feasible. There's a few of these transfers floating around that I don't think we're quite ready for. There are people like City, PSG, and people who have Champions League football and who are trophy pushing who are going to take people like that away from us a little bit too soon. So, I mean, for context, where's Kamara on my list? There he is. So, defensive mid for Marseille, 22 years old. He is one of the best DMs in France and indeed in the world at the moment. Statistically, he's comparable to sort of Bruno, not in the same style, but positionally. Just so impressive in the middle for his age as well. He's going to get snapped up by a team challenging for Champions League for sure.
Chris says, have the filters gone now then, Paul? No, they haven't. So we'll still be using my green screen from time to time. Well, quite a lot, actually. I'm not paying like a fortune for that and then not getting a green screen. Just crazy. But I will need it. Would love Borgia from Southampton or, loan from Chelsea. I don't know what kind of contract he's on at the minute, but he's a very, very good player. But listen, I think we have the capabilities to go out and get players now on, actually buy them and not and sign them permanently, not have loan deals. Kari says, I want Kelly from Bournemouth, Botman from Lille, and Burge from Sheffield United, and Skamaker from Italy. Well, Kari, I know you mention Burge from Sheffield United nearly every time you comment, and I know you would love to see your fellow countryman in a Newcastle United uniform. However, I don't think that's going to happen for Burge, unfortunately. Kelly from Bournemouth seems to be picking up momentum, Alex.
Yeah, that has been heavily linked for a long time now. Because it's Bournemouth again, but Bournemouth are looking like they're going to come back up this year to the Premier League. So, and Kelly is their captain. So he's a young centre-back who is their captain. It does remind me a bit of Jamal Lascelles in terms of the situation, but he doesn't play like Jamal Lascelles. It's a tough one. Maybe if we give them a good offer, they're not going to be able to say no.
Yeah.
Depends how they want to approach coming back up this time around, if their financial things changed since Eddie Howe was there.
James says Paqueta from Lyon.
Yeah, Bruno's best mate, maybe.
Yeah, could be. Luke de Jong. Ross, you've had a mare. An absolute Sinclair you've had there, matey. If Barcelona sign Raphinha, then they aren't sure about Dembele's new contract. Look, I think they want to offload Dembele. I think they've made it quite clear that they want to offload Dembele. They made a massive mistake when they gave him the wages that he's on. Quite honestly, it's not Dembele's fault.
He's another one that looks like a PSG signing to me. He's French as well, so
yeah, damn right, yeah, and they don't mind paying out the crazy wages, clearly. But never mind. Lingard is a class player. Will says, now I know where Alex got his stats. Thanks. Knew you disagreed with Paul on that one. He disagrees.
I get my stats from loads of places. It's not just
it's not just one. Alex has sources all over the globe. Will all over the globe, and he will never reveal all of them. Dybala, can someone give me thoughts? I think he'd be good. I would like to know what other people think. Yeah, we've talked about Dybala, and yes, we definitely would love to have him. Ginger says, why the Isco crap? The man has done nothing in years and had more injuries than Hazard. Isco scored 5 goals in the last 4 years with 9 assists.
Yeah, he doesn't play very much. He's getting like 10 to 15 appearances per year on substitute appearances on the odd start. And they're in a transitional phase at the moment with Cruz and Modric and Casemiro as the little linchpin. It's and they've had a big change of managers. They've been up and down with Zidane, not there and there. It's been a crazy ride. Yeah. It's I wouldn't say he's bad. I mean, what you think Isco on a free is what should we start Murphy and Almiron ahead of somebody like Isco? Like, it's a no-brainer, man. He's free. Doesn't make any sense. I agree with you that it's slightly risky with his injury record, and he's not put up insane like goal statistics, but we've got a front three for that. He wouldn't be part of it. He would probably be in the midfield somewhere. And he's going to score a damn sight more than our midfield have been doing. That's for sure.
Indeed. Charlie, the Leicester fan, says, we'll let you have Perez back on a free.
No,
absolutely not. Thank you very much. But I think we lost the receipt somewhere as well for that. Julie says, geez, I'd love to be 28 again if that's over the hill. Damn right, Julie. Damn right. Darwin Núñez, Alex. He has been linked with us numerous times.
Well, he was linked with Man United today. It started. He started being linked because it was us and West Ham for the longest of times, and now he's starting. Now because he's continued his ridiculous form, he's starting to be mentioned in the conversations of other bigger clubs now. Maybe we'll see. It's that's one that I'm not going to give any traction to because there are so many voices shouting about it. it's impossible to know, really, and the player's not said it himself. So,
Conrad says, are the scouting staff looking beyond Europe and South America, like Africa, North America, and Asia? I would think there will be. I think the scouts will be looking all over the country, all over the world, to be honest. And that's just something that we will be doing.
It's hard to scout those places unless you use Football Manager as a general guide. It's impossible to scout those places. This is when you get paid software for football statistics, and this is why people pay scouts to go and physically go to those nations. There's only so much you can do from an armchair, unfortunately, in terms of football.
BT says it's been made clear that Newcastle are not planning a lavish summer spending spree and will instead have a policy of pragmatic ambition that will give them room for maneuver under the FFP. Right. Let's just see what happens.
Not the club.
Exactly. Let's just see what happens in the summer, shall we? Because everybody said, they're not spending very much in January. Look how much we spent, right? I'm telling you now, just wait till the summer. Because if we get loads of free transfers in, and some of the players that we've mentioned tonight, if we get some of them over the line and through the door, we're not going to need to spend a lot of money in the transfer window. So I wouldn't, if we get 5 free transfers of world-class players and then 1 player in the door for 20 million, so all we spent is 20 million in the summer, are you going to be disappointed with that? Because I'm certainly not.
It's impossible to know that. It's impossible to know. If Bruno and Maxi break their leg in pre-season, are we just going to stay with that same transfer policy? Yeah, we're not going to change it. It's subject to change. It depends on where we finish, how we finish, when we finish the season. It depends on the free transfers. It depends on injuries. It depends on so many things. There's no way anybody can know our budget right now who is so far away from the club as a journalist. It's just not true.
Man United are over 900 million in debt. You can't call them the richest club in the world, and we have no debt to Ginger. Exactly. I mean, I think Ginger's just making his controversial comments again tonight, as he sometimes does. Arsenal should sign Rashford on loan this summer. Let him go. I don't really like Rashford, to be honest, as a footballer. Newcastle should sign on loan this summer. I don't know who he's talking about there. Stephanie says, I'd take Usman in a heartbeat.
Yeah, if we could get him, I guess.
Yeah. Happy Highlights says, I would love Dembele in Newcastle. Do you know, wouldn't it be funny, though, if we did go out and just signed Dembele, and just put to bed all this crap about wages and we're not going to pay this, we're going to pay that. Just like, yes, we are. Because the new owners want to win things. But again, we'll see. Dan says, I love Belotti, one of my favorite players, but is he willing to leave Italy? He's like built into the fabric of Torino.
I mean, he's not been there that long, has he? He joined there at the start of his 5-year contract, and
he hasn't signed a new contract yet, Alex. Which, if he was in love with Torino, you'd think he maybe would have signed by now.
He was at Palermo. Was he at before? He was at Palermo. So he's been there since 2015, and he was at Palermo before in Serie B. So he's not been there his whole career. Yeah, you might be right, but it's not like he's a one-club person necessarily. This is the end of a big contract. He was on a 5 or 6 year deal, and this is the end of that big deal. So, or he might have re-signed one more contract, but maybe.
Guys, please do listen to Julie because you don't want to mess with her. Last time, move on. Take FFP chat to Twitter and not on this chat. Exactly. We don't care. It's not about FFP on here tonight. It's just genuinely talking about free transfers and where we might go. We're going to do about 10 more minutes because I know, Alex, you're an hour in front of us.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got a few left. So
yeah, but we got another show. We'll do another show, so we don't have to get them all in tonight. That's the whole point of doing this. It'll spread.
There's a lot more beyond what these notes are as well. There's a lot of honourable mentions and things.
We'll do 2 more tonight, but then if you can cross off the list of ones we've done, so that we don't do them on the next show.
Yeah, sure.
Who's next on the list?
Well, I want to give an honourable mention to David Brooks from Bournemouth because I really like him. He is a free transfer, but I saw that he's got lymphoma, which is very sad.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true, but if he has, that's a real shame because he looks like a quality player. I didn't know he wasn't playing. I didn't know he was out. so he's unfortunately not on the list. But so I'm going to go with Ginter because people have mentioned him in the chat before. Who does he play for again? Is he not Mönchengladbach? He's Leverkusen, isn't he? I believe he's Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. 28 years old. He's on 50 grand a week currently in the Bundesliga. I believe he's a right-footed centre-back. And again, at the moment, we've got Cher and Sells because we're going to lose Fernandes anyway. Again, Cher's not signed a contract yet. So we are going to need some right-footed defenders through the door. I'm confident one of them's probably going to be a free transfer because we don't seem to have much coming through the academy. And that we've got a few things coming through the academy, but they all seem to be midfield striker-y. So we're going to have to, and we can't spend transfer fees on every defensive player. So I can definitely see us getting So Ginter seems like a perfect free transfer, to be fair, because we could double his wages and that would only take him to 100k. Again, he's a good age for a centre back at 28, so why not?
Yeah. Neil says, sat here listening to all the great players we might sign in the summer. Reminds me of as a kid, looking through a toys catalogue in the run-up to Christmas, wondering what I'll get. I think that's how Newcastle fans see it at the moment. What's happening with Dan Ashworth? It's been quiet on him recently.
He's gardening.
He's gardening, he's planting all his summer. He's planting all his potatoes and daffodils and all that stuff. I think we'll hear more about that come the end of the season, to be honest. I wouldn't worry about it at the minute. Right, final player for tonight then, Alex.
Right, we'll finish with a bang then. Luis Suarez.
Wow. Okay.
So, controversial one, but I'm going to say what I said at the start. He's won everything. Does he care anymore? It depends if he wants to stay in a Spanish-speaking country and be closer to family, because he's obviously been there for a while. He was at Barca. If he wants another pop at the league and a project, he might not want that. But again, he's somebody that's won everything and he might be interested in doing a year for us. Why not? You never know unless you try. And he was at Atletico. So we had Trippier from there. We've got contacts. It's possible. And our transfer... I was very impressed with our transfer business with Atletico because they were very amicable about Trippier's transfer. Simeone was very, very good. They seemed quite good to deal with in the transfer window. So you never know. In terms of wages as well, he's not on a lot actually. Where's Suarez gone? He's on 160k. He took a wage cut from Barca to go there, so it's only 40-ish k more than Trippier's on. So it wouldn't blow our wage structure out the water. For people saying he's too old and he's past it, so he's 35 at the moment. He has made 28 appearances this season in Spain and 6 Champions League appearances. So he's made a lot of appearances, just under 1,900 minutes. So he's still seems to be physically there. He isn't a super pressing player, but they've adapted their system to suit that. And I'm sure Eddie Howe and his team are tactically sound enough to understand that. So can he do it for another year? Possibly. It's very possible. He's put up the appearances. Wages aren't crazy. So if he doesn't mind leaving Spain and if he's interested in a project, because let's be honest, he has won everything. Maybe. It's not crazy unrealistic. You never know.
We shall see. Ronald Turnbull, thank you very much for your £10 super sticker, my man. Very, very kind of you. No comment there, but thank you indeed. Right. Good show tonight. It just fills in a little gap there, just talking about the free transfers that we may get in the summer, and it's certainly going to be very interesting to see what happens when the summer does come. Now, tomorrow night, don't forget at 8:30, we have the fan forum. So we'll probably have the usual rabble on the forum to come on and talk about Newcastle United's build-up to the game on Sunday against Tottenham, and maybe just some news around Newcastle, whatever's come out. Thursday night, me, Danielle, and Alex will be back with the match preview for the Tottenham game. That, I believe, is 8 o'clock on Thursday night, but just keep an eye on YouTube and check the time. And then on Sunday at 4 o'clock, we've got the live watch-along with myself, live commentary of the game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, or whatever it's called these days. I'll be commentating on the game. I know it's on Sky, but just knock the volume off and listen to a bit of biased Newcastle United commentary for that one. And then obviously I think sometime on next Monday, the three of us will be back, or two of us will be back with the match review. Or we may actually do that Sunday night, to be honest. But keep an eye on the channel. Hit the notification bell and make sure you know when we're going to go live, as you guys always do. Go on then. What have you got?
No, once this once the stream's ended and it's gone to YouTube, if you want to comment, if there's anybody I've missed, so I've got a good 5 or 6 big names to do for a second video or a second stream. So if you guys think I've missed anybody, or there's somebody you're really interested in terms of free transfers, post it as a comment once this has gone on as a video. And if you liked and subscribed, if you've subscribed to the channel, then I'll have a look and maybe include yours in the next video. So go and put some free transfers you think I've missed, or anything that is definitely worthy of a conversation, and we can get some more names in. It means everybody can take part. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that is it for tonight. Thank you for watching. Do hit the thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, as usual. If you're new to the channel, you like what you see, do consider subscribing as well. Really want Alex to shave and play Fog of the Time on his guitar when we do hit 10k subs. That would be a remarkable achievement. Also, just to mention that all the shows now, all the live shows, will be on Spotify round about half an hour to an hour after the shows now. They stopped on Spotify for a little bit, but I've sorted all that out now. So every live show goes straight to Spotify and will be available on there, and all of the good podcasts like Apple, iTunes and things like that. It's on them all. So just keep an eye out for those. If you do like listening to podcasts when you're driving or at the gym or whatever, that you can re-listen to the shows again. So that's available round about an hour after the shows. Do join the Facebook group. We're almost at 1,000 members already on that, which is incredible. You can find the Toon Review on Instagram as well. And thank you to everyone who has sent in super chats tonight. Very, very, very kind of you. Really do appreciate that. And also, do become a member of the Toon Review if you wish by hitting the join button just underneath the video. We do have a prize to give out on Thursday to a members draw, which is a little bit of a Bobby Robson storybook kind of thing. So that's going to be great to give away on the preview show on Thursday night. Thank you, Alex, for your company tonight. It's been a great show. Thank you again to the mods behind the scenes, working really hard. And finally, thank you to our channel sponsors, Geordie Riffs, premium guitar lessons for beginners and children, based here in the good old northeast of England. Guitar repairs and servicing. They're offering 10% off your first repair and service. They do have a recording studio available there for you as well. And they are also offering your first guitar lesson completely free of charge. You find them at geordieriffs.co.uk, Instagram at Geordie Riffs, and Facebook Geordie Riffs Official. So thank you to Graham and Natalie for their continued support. Right, we will be back for the fan forum tomorrow night at 8:30. Thank you for watching, guys. Keep smiling. Be kind. Good night.